So our team actually brought this up, that it's has been used as a site for several film and TV projects. So people have filmed in this area a lot. So that kind of reinforced to us that we thought that it would have sort of a symbolic meaning to people. So there's pictures of like film crews on site. I think if you just go back to the last slide real quick, might be a little bit left. Oh yeah, so the symbolism that the design holds within the academic setting. It's like a library, it's a lawn, it's a plaza. So we thought this would really have a symbolic meaning to people as the center of campus, and because of the fact that it's used in films and it's sort of like has this broad like association with people in their minds of a campus setting, an academic setting, a central campus location. We really thought that that symbolism, once we looked more deeply into it through interviews and various methods, that we really thought we would discover it did have this symbolic meaning as a center location for this academic environment. And also we wanted to examine the plaza's utility. How is it being used? Is it being used the way maybe people designed? So we looked into that as well. So I'll start off. I'm going first. I did behavior mapping. And so really what I did is I really wanted to look at a little bit of everything. As you guys can see, this is a really huge area that we had to examine. We did consider this all kind of like the central hub of, it's like how our team says, the hub of campus, This kind of like the landmark area. It's like the center. Like if you really want to like meet someone, this is kind of where you would say, meet me in front of the library, something like that. But it's such a huge area. And so what I did at first is that I broke it down. In order to do behavior mapping, I broke it down into 5 more easily manageable sections that I thought were a little bit distinctive from one another within the entire study area. And I wanted to look at how are people using, if I could just go back real quick to the last slide still. I wanted to look at how are people using these areas, like kind of when they're sitting still, and also how is like the traffic flow, because there's all these paths and stuff. So I broke it down into like study area 1 right here. This is the Oviatt library, and then these are the terraced areas and the lawn in front that I was talking about. That's kind of like my big first area that I looked at right here. This is Matador Walk. Number 2, it's these buildings. I wrote down the names. We have Magnolia Hall, Eucalyptus Hall, Live Oak Hall. There's the bookstore down here. This is just kind of framing the entire study area. So all these halls and on this side of the walkway are my study area 2. Number 3 is the Sierra Quad itself. Area 4, this is Sierra Hall where we're at right now. So area 4 is there's these seating areas and trees. Then area 5 up here is also outside of Sierra Hall. And so what I did to study how this area is being used is I assigned a different day of the week. So I wanted it to be kind of random. So I just went Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I just kind of assigned so each one I looked at it 2 different days of the week, and then I went there in the morning, before noon, and pretty much at noon or afternoon, so I could get a real variety, get a snapshot of where are people now and what are they doing. If you go to the next slide. So what I did, I went out there with my notebook at first. Eventually I started drawing actual printouts of a map. And I created symbols. I'm still working on this, but it's basically just a chart what different activities and behaviors that I'm looking at. And so you can see right here, this is actually the terrace. I wrote down terrace right on the side of the Oviatt Library. And I just kind of assigned them different numbers. This was in the morning, I believe, and I wrote down I just had a little basic code. I'm still working on it. I might just use letters, but I drew little pictures. And so I wrote a number, number 5, and so there's a female, and that means something. I forget what that means, but she's sitting or eating or whatever different symbols I put. And so that's how I first did it. So I chose one section. It's Monday morning or something, and I went over there, and I just took kind of a snapshot of where is everyone. What's the location and what are all the activities that this person or these people are doing, their gender, and so forth. So ultimately, it helped me to get a bigger picture of the activities in this area. So this is my, I think it's area 1, I called it. So this was the first time I did it in the morning. Or no, I think I combined a morning and afternoon on this one, I'm not sure. But anyway, so I started numbering things like later on, just kind of like getting a better picture of how these are used. I'll have like 1A, 1B, 1C, and so that's like, or 1A, 2A, 3A, and so like A is like the first time I went, and so I have all the activities, and then I overlap it with like 1B, 2B, 3B, and so I tried to like really get a whole picture and a list of all the activities I saw within that study area. So I'm pretty much doing these for each of the sections, and then I can kind of like put it all together and get a bigger picture of how all the people are using it. If I go to the next slide. So what I was doing before, it's pretty much a snapshot. Like, you know, it might have taken me 5 or 10 minutes, but it's a snapshot at that moment of how the area is being used. What I also wanted to look at is kind of like the corridors of movement, I was calling them, like the traffic flow. And that's really hard with such a huge area and with so many people, especially like noon. This was taken at noon. I took like a video, because that's what I had to start doing, because there's so many people that I really couldn't count them. I didn't think that it would be very practical to like follow one person as far as trying to see what the entire traffic flow was, especially when everyone gets out of class and everyone's moving to different parts throughout the entire study area. And so what I did was I started filming, and I would even film from like up above at the library, and I would examine later like through my footage and just kind of like getting a sense when I was doing it at the time of what are the most used like corridors that people use. This is a path that cuts through, there's like Sierra Hall right here, that building, and this path cuts through the Sierra Quad, which is that big lawn area in front of the library. And so if you go to the next slide, I'll show you guys a picture. That's actually this area right here. On this kind of like random map that I drew, I charted all the most heavily used paths in red, and it actually kind of matched what intuitively would make sense to me, is that the widest paths were the ones that were the most heavily used by the most people. And so that picture that I just showed you guys was like right around here. And it was a huge concentration of people, just by looking at it you can tell. And so that really helped me, because if you look at the picture, there's like, I can count in the actual footage, there's like 5 people walking right here, but then there's, a couple dozen people just in that snapshot of this corner right here, using, the traffic's flowing both ways. And I had the same thing, filming from the library, going up and down this way and across Matador Walk. And so it really helped me get a picture of what are the most heavily used areas. And I was actually going to probably overlay, maybe like use different colors, like yellow to symbolize like it's maybe not as heavily used, and then maybe green to show it's not used. It's used very lightly. And so filming for such a large area and for such a large quantity of people really helped me to determine where areas were really getting the most traffic flow. Just go to the next slide real quick. And also,
area flight.
There's what's that?
That's the area flight.
Yeah, this is Area 5. Yeah, this is across from or right next to like Sierra Hall still, right over here. And also what I did, I charted movement, but also you have really big crowds. And so I kind of wanted to see what parts of all of our study areas had the most congregation of people, had the most like concentration. And so what I found was, in this one area, there's like, there's this area of like bench tables and stuff, and there's a lot of times there's pretty much almost every time I went in this area there were like fraternities or sororities like selling, like one time they were selling nachos last time I looked, for fundraisers and stuff. And also there just seems to be a lot of socialization in some of these areas, and so this is going to help me map in the same way that I did with like the traffic flow. I can put like areas of heavy usage as far as like more, I don't want to say like sedentary, but more like areas where people just like congregate in certain corners and say what are the most heavily used. So this is like a corner of bench tables and stuff, so maybe it's the design. I don't know, but what I do know is this is a part of campus that people are really gathering in high concentrations, and film and taking pictures really helped me to determine that in such a large area with such a huge amount of people using it. So that's pretty much.
It's actually the area that art students go there from the dance, what you call it, from dancing classes or music classes, to actually join with other students to have their activities in that area. So sometimes you can actually hear loud music in that area.
Right, and I did find that, like a lot of times, I would make symbols, like I'd go out onto the Oviatt, like the what do they call it, the quad, like the lawn area, and there'd be like, there was like 5 people playing guitar one time. So I had like, I drew a little guitar, you know, and it's just like, just kind of chart those, I kind of had to chart different uses as I came across them. And I'm just going to try and figure out for our final paper what's the most efficient way to kind of put those down. Maybe I'll just use letters. I don't know how practical it is to draw little pictures. But either way, that's pretty much were my methods for behavior mapping. You're next.
Great presentation. It's really hard for me to follow that up. I'll be doing a participant observation, and when we talk about the Oviatt lawn, it's important for us to understand the urban design of it all, and the facade of the library. What type of ambiance that creates? Since we're here in Southern California and it's sunny outside, and we have the palm trees and the open grass seating area there. My study aimed to find out like what was the morale of the campus body and students here in Northridge by coming to the campus center, which is here, the Oviatt lawn. So the observation method I used was I went out on Tuesdays and Thursdays between 3 and 5 o'clock, or 3:30 and 5 o'clock, and I just pretty much observed as a participant observer. So I kind of got involved in the student process. Like, I mean, I didn't really aim to be a participant observer. I kind of got interviewed by a reporter from the Sundial, and I figured, well, hey, I might as well start talking to the students. And so what I found was that on average I talked to about 10 students, and they said that that the open grass seating area here is their favorite place to come and, you know, hang out and, you know, just take a break from it all in between classes. And about 8 out of 10 students agree that the Oviatt lawn here is the center of campus, to further support our claim that the campus, this is our campus center. So some of the activities that I observed students partaking in the Oviatt lawn is I've seen groups of students playing football, I've seen people playing rugby, I've seen people texting on their cell phones, sunbathing, relaxing, homework. You can see my New Balance right here. That's what I do in the Oviatt lawn. And yeah, that's it.
For interviews, we actually did 2 separate ones. I did one, Arden did one. And
What's your name? Your name?
Oh, Maria. One I did was to more to determine respondents' actions and behaviors, so like what they're actually doing at the plaza, and like around the time they go and usually. And the other one was to determine more like the feelings towards the Oviatt Plaza and areas for improvement. It was a structured interview from a random sample. I only went on regular days. I didn't go on any event days. But I went once in the morning and twice in the afternoon. Sample questions included: how often do you come to the plaza? What kind of activities do you engage when you're at the plaza? And how often do you attend the events out of the plaza? And what I found was I gave them like choices. So most of it, most students said that they were relaxing or other, from the options studying, socializing, relaxing, or other. And then how often do you pass through the walkways of Oviatt Plaza? The majority said frequently, so that just showed how much people use the walkways. And the people who said never, I don't know if that was really true. They said that like they mostly stayed on the other side of campus. And then this was an important question: would you agree that the Oviatt Plaza is a landmark of CSUN? A majority obviously said yes.
So for my interview, actually, I made questions to see Oviatt Library is likable place, or it's a people-friendly place, and got the data from them to